Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where we today is celebrating a 1-year birthday. And if you haven't guessed it yet, it's actually a 1-year birthday for the Profit Retriever EA or robot that we have, the trading robot that trades different types of forex, index, metals, you name it, even crypto here. And the EA itself actually comes from Expert Forex, and we have now been trading this for over a year. We have been trading this in a portfolio, and we have documented a lot of our travels, our journeys, our ups and downs all the way through the year. So now it's time to have a closer look exactly of where we came from, what have we done during the year, and also of course we're going to have a look at the exact profits, all the ups and downs, everything else that we have gone through, and of course also the lesson learned. And if you have missed any of the videos, there will also be a reference to some of those in there, because definitely all of them has helped us on our journey forward. So to make sure that we have a good steady profit. And when we say good steady profit, we can also tell you that it's not just a 1-year birthday, it's really a celebration of finding finally an EA that is so stable that it actually cashes in month after month. Now, it's not a set and forget robot and you're not going to get rich tomorrow. That is definitely not what we are saying here. We are just showing you our journey, what we have done so far to actually try and get a decent trading portfolio in place, and we have certainly succeeded. We are sure that you can do the same, even though this of course is not investment advice. You have to have a look at this here yourself and find out exactly what type of risk that you are willing to engage in. We have definitely tried to show exactly how this works, and that's also a bit what we're just gonna go through in the past history with the Profit Retriever itself, because it is a very good and fairly stable robot. And I say fairly stable, it has high drawdowns, it has some kinks in the armor, but overall, as you will see here, we can actually make profit with this one month after month, and that is what it's all about at the end of the day. So let's go and have a look through our journey starting 1 year ago. The first one we're going to do here is the Profit Retriever trading that we set up. And basically what we did here, we was part of the beta trading testing team back then in early March. And then it was released around mid-March, and then we started actually doing some backtesting on all this. And yes, we know backtesting is not real testing, but it all starts there. And one of the things that we really found interesting was we tried a lot of different currency pairs, and a lot of them looked to be extremely stable, even though it wasn't necessarily the optimized trading that we wanted. But we could see that no matter almost what settings we had in here, there could be a very good profit for it. So the first video we actually made was this particular one here, saying that okay, we can make up to 58,000 in just 7 months. And back then maybe it was a bit on the high side, because again we have to figure out the exact lot size that you have to trade with this one here, but it showed it had potential, and that's what we started off with. Since then we set up 3, 4, 5, and then we basically escalated the forward trading into demo trading itself. And you can see here by April, we had the first weeks of trading in, and we could actually report a profit of 9,700, which was actually quite high considering that we only had 4 or 5 EAs running at the time. It was high risk at the time. Also, the lot size was a bit too big. We know that now, but you have to start somewhere, and you have to also start your live trading in order to figure all these things out, of course. Since then, we basically developed more and more signals, and it became also very apparent here back then that Expert Forex and Alex wanted to set up copy trading, because this was the first time, even though he's been trading for more than 20 years here, that he found such a good stable robot that not only creates profit, but can actually create profit for a lot of different people. So a lot of different people actually could get this EA here to work. So, and that's why he came up with the idea here that for the other people that didn't want to go in all the back testing and all the hours and weeks sometimes of trying to find the right settings for the individual currency pairs, then that was the way forward. So obviously we also expanded on this particular one. And as you can see, more and more EAs also give bigger profits at the end of the day. So we could report a 24,000 profit in 4 weeks. That has to be said. July was very good, a high volatility. So definitely a very good month for the robot itself. Then came September, and September was basically where Expert Forex now launched the coupling service. And I believe we started off with somewhere around 20 or 30 signals, and that grew very, very quickly here to more than 40, 50. And I believe now we are closer to the 70 or 80 mark, and continues to drive up with different types of metal and currencies. As people are getting more and more experience with the EA itself, what it can do, which currencies is safe to trade and which ones are a bit more on the dodgy side. It all depends on also how the currencies are trending. And obviously you also see that every 3 or 4 months in the market here, you will have some big ups and downs. And we had a recent one here in March, definitely similar to what we had back in 2020 on the COVID side. We do not believe that March is going to be like the banking crash in 2008. But obviously it's still ongoing and new things are being revealed every single day. And that, of course, also has an effect on the robots themselves. And then by November, we could actually then report that our portfolio that we had set up with all our EAs had reached a profit of more than 100,000. And that was definitely not something that we would have expected back then when we started off in March. We were just hoping that something would work, but definitely not on this particular scale. So we were extremely happy about this. And then this happened. But obviously, again, we knew that things don't last forever. We had one account crash. That account actually started off with $10,000. It went to about 20, and then it crashed after there. And again, that will happen once in a while. You have to take that into your consideration when you trade. And that's why also we trade in a big portfolio. We now have more than 20 EAs by that particular time here. We set a lot of things up in November, December for the coupling service, so people had something to pick and choose from. Now this particular video here also goes into detail of how you can actually cover yourself, and so you don't necessarily lose 20,000, but you can take money out as you go along. There is different ways of covering your accounts so that if it blows, then at least you have gotten some of the money out, or maybe are already risk-free, similar to what we actually were on this particular account. It had pretty much doubled, and there's ways in there where you can cover yourselves so the losses are actually not so big. And then we came to early January, so where basically we could now report that the 100,000 has turned into 130,000 in just the 9 months that we've been trading this particular one here. And we give you a bit of a review also at the same time, both for our own trading, and also we look into the coupling trading with Expert Forex. That continued to develop and started to actually get some traction in early 2023, which we are extremely happy with. So because that is also another way of you can create income for yourself. And obviously, as we grow and our experience grows, we also were at a place then where we could actually, end of January, try and explain a bit. So both to the coupling service, so they understand how we set up our links. And that is this particular video here shows, okay, this is how we process. This is how we find the right settings, the most stable settings, not necessarily the ones that are creating the most profits, but are the most stable, and hopefully also that will allow it to work for many, many years and without crashing. So we did that particular part, and then we did a second section here also, which is another part for the set file guide on how actually we have set up our winning strategy, how we month after month can actually incur nice profits. And that is what this particular one is about. The first one is the basic settings for the robot, the EA itself, and this particular one goes into a bit more detail. So basically part 2 of this, showing you exactly what is possible and how you can actually adjust and reduce your drawdowns over time. Last but not least, of course, everything is not always good, and you will have the hard lessons learned, and we definitely had some. As you saw, we had one account blow back in November, and we had another one blow here in March, and that also created obviously a bit of issue because everything looked extremely positive. And then you have this coming in, and we had one that also had a slight margin call, so it didn't wipe out the account. But it obviously meant that we lost about $14,000 here in March. And you will see here that the EA has actually made this back up already now. And we are now back in the positive, and that is great. And that is all the hard lessons learned that we are trying to apply to this particular one, and we share with you also. So it doesn't really matter if you want to trade your own EAs, you can still use these lessons learned that we have, and obviously I'm sure you will have more yourself. But on top of that, also if you just want to copy our links, then it's nice for you also to understand exactly what type of planning and performance that goes into these particular links. We are definitely trying to make sure that no accounts blow, but again, we always mention that most probably with so many accounts that we have now here, more than 20 in the portfolio, we are bound to have one every 3 or 4 months that will blow. We will try to avoid it, obviously, but it's very, very difficult because it is the Forex markets. And as you can see with the banking crisis that we have now again, who knows where it's going to go, and nobody can predict exactly how everything is going to match out in the future. So these are the things, and these are the latest videos that we take with us on all the hard lessons learned in the last year, and there's obviously also quite a lot of good ones. So where we are today, well, we're going to have a closer look at the FXBlue side in just a second, but this rounds everything up, and you can see our history, 369 days so far, monthly returns overall, and this is actually including the crash. We haven't taken anything out because we wanted to show you exactly where we were, even with the new account crashed. We will remove it from our portfolio and add other ones to it, so that is quite normal. But obviously we don't want to sort of disguise that an account is blown or anything else. You can see the impact of this right now. Weekly return is 2.6%, as you can see also, so very, very good numbers overall. If we have a look at the balance on top, 422,000, and don't forget we start off with 23 accounts, $10,000 each, and that basically means that the close profit right now, as of this morning, I was shooting the video here, 192,826,000 has been made in the last 369 days. Obviously, in the beginning, we said we only have 4 or 5 EAs. Since then, we've been building on this. And then you can also see here on the other side, you can see the net profit from March 2022. That was only a few days of trading in there, but we still made 1,800. And then the next couple of months for April, May, we made more than 10,000. And then we come to a couple of very nice months here also, where we are making even more. You can see by September down here, we are at 15,000. And October, we almost get to 20,000 mark, 19,745. November, we actually cash in 20,000. And then December, it was a month that we did not expect to have such high profits, 21,000. And then January, we actually hit first time the 30. February was a bit more on the quiet side, but it was also a short month. So 24,000 there. And then we hit March, where basically we lost out on about 14,000 in total. And I'm going to show you that also on the FXBlue side here. But you can see already now, we still have more than a week of trading left. And the portfolio overall is still intact, $203. Yes, it's not something to be very proud of this particular month. But the good thing is that even though you have losses like this, at the end of the day, you won't have a minus on the account. You actually end up in the positive. So that shows that we are on the right track, and some of the videos and information that we have provided along the way that we live by here seems to be working out nicely. So let's have a look on the FXBlue site and see some of these trades in more detail. So in order to figure out exactly where you can find all the details, I've just taken you onto our website here. And if you scroll down, you can see on the one side we have copy link trading. So this is basically the profit retriever, and all the details for the copy link trading we have put together here for you. And on the other side, this is where we're going today with the profit retriever. This is also where you find a lot of video material. You do that also on the copy link trading service, but they are more just guided as to if you want to use that particular service. All the individual details of what we have is on the profit retriever site here. It gives you a bit of an idea of what exactly it does, how you can trade it. And we also have monthly postings showing you the individual months here, how much they make. We have taken the top 5 just as a bit of a teaser and information so that you can see what is actually possible. We have all our videos in here also, and you will notice that there might be some that we didn't go through this time around, but definitely they're worth having a look. And there's quite a few of them, including also the first one down here that shows a bit about how you set up your robots in the first place on the MT4 platforms themselves. On top of this, we also have the weekly returns, and we also do a weekly posting. So which ones are just at the top at the moment to see, again, give you a good idea of which ones are working the best at the moment on the EAs. And then we have also gathered a range of Expert Forex videos down here to help you, apart from what we have already put together ourselves. Alex has some good videos in here, which is definitely worth having a look at also, especially if you don't have that amount of money. Sometimes you can have send accounts instead that will make it up for it. So at least you can get started and trading, so the EA. And on top of this, we now have our profit retriever portfolio. So this is where you find everything put together in one place, similar to what I just showed you here before. And you can also go and have a look at the individual trades in here, and clicking on these will take you directly to the FXBlue site. And we have some more details that if you're interested in buying the profit retriever or finding more about Expert Forex, how you can sign up for the premium forum. And we also have some links that what we use of VPS services and some of the brokers we use for our live accounts. And then also a bit of a warning again here. So before you use the links, make sure you understand the EA, the robot. And this is where a lot of the videos come in that we have made, so you are aware. And also our recommendations for how exactly, how much money you should use in order to trade the individual currency pairs. So if we click on the profit retriever portfolio overview here, you will now get to the profit retriever test, and you will see the same details as you just saw here before. And if we make it a bit bigger, we can see again the 422,854 on the balance at the moment. The equity is hidden. We believe it's because one of the accounts that blew here that we haven't removed yet, because it's normally there, but we have another way. We will show you that anyway. The free margin, obviously you can do a calculation from that. Otherwise, at the moment, I believe it's around 40,000. But free margin is 372, and if you again look back on the accounts, 23 accounts, $10,000 each, that's 230, and then you have the closed profit here. Monthly returns has dropped a bit, obviously because of that particular account. 11.4 is what FXBlue has calculated it for. 2.6 on the weekly return, so definitely we're quite happy with those numbers in here. Overall trade wins is 68.3%. So again, that is quite normal for the profit retriever. It lies somewhere around 60, 62, and then it goes all the way up to about 72, 74, somewhere in between, depending again on the currencies, the indexes, the metals that you are trading. Trading links you can see is quite long sometimes because of the drawdowns that the robot will go into. And trades per day is 42, and overall history 369. So obviously there's quite a lot in there overall. If we have a look at the portfolio in here, we can see the individual links, and all these links are basically marked up. You can see the balance is on this particular one, and you have the equity here. Here you have the floating profit, and you can see some big numbers at the moment, and that is again down to the last couple of weeks banking failures and other things that basically has made a bit of an impact on a few of them. You can see it's not too many, but there's definitely a few that got into trouble over this, but we expect them to come out on top as they normally always do. We are quite certain that the settings we have overall here is quite good. Close profits, as you see again here, is quite okay, but we have these two accounts. So the one account here, which has basically blown, and then we had one that had a margin call. The one with the margin call, we actually do believe that we can get that back and then some, but that is for a different video. Now, if we go and have a look at the stats itself, so on this particular one, you will see again some of the stuff I showed you here before. Weekly, monthly profits, profit factor in here. You can see the history, 369 days. Balance is currently at 422,899. And here you can see the floating profit, which is quite high at the moment. Just before this banking crisis actually came into play, I think we were down at 15,000, which was quite low, and is way less than the 5% of course out of the 422. So that was extremely good. Normally it lies somewhere between 15 and 25. And the floating profit, it was a bit higher. It has come down now, and hopefully we'll see it come back into maybe 30s or 20s, hopefully very, very soon. But there's plenty of the other ones that are still doing quite a good job. If we have a look at the profits, you can see winning days, 281, losing is 9. Best day is 4,343, so that's quite nice. The worst one is the one we just recently had here, which was minus 14,108. And then we have a look at the weeks, 53 weeks that we have been winning, 1 losing. The best week is 11,700, so quite good. And the worst one is 8-9, again, 8,916. Again, we're coming back to the previous week where everything went terribly wrong. Months, winning month. Well, as you can see, when we talk about months, we are only in green all the way through, and no red whatsoever. The best month is the one I showed you earlier before here also, 30,116. And the worst is 220, which is the one we're in right now that has just recovered. Obviously, we hope still to get up to maybe around 5,000 or 8,000 before the end of the month. And then we have the amount of closing trades, more than 10,000 is winning, and we can see losing trades 4,845. So basically that is a lot of information, that is a lot of data that we can now take with us overall. Now, if you have a look at the chart itself, and in here you can see a nice smooth equity curve, and obviously that is because you have so many accounts at the same time trading in. We had a bit of a hiccup down here where we had, this was nothing to do with the EA, it has something to do with the broker. It recovered very, very quickly, and then you can see the losing account that we had up here made a nice dip. But since then, you can already see now it has developed again. It has come back to where we were about a month ago or so. And that is excellent news. So that it can recover so quickly overall. If we have a look at the dates, you can see we started on the 18th of March. And basically there's not much happening on that particular day. And then we started having more and more trades. On a weekly basis, there is quite a lot of information in here. Overall, as you can see, it comes all the way down, and the last week we have now here, you can see the last week was the worst week, where we just mentioned before, 8,916, and this particular one here is looking okay. We are only about 2 days into this when we're shooting the video, so 1,609. And this is early days on the second day actually, so not too bad at all. The monthly parts, again here we have March on top, and then we have March 2023 here at the bottom. Again, nice profits all the way through, as you saw here. And you can then obviously go in and have a closer look and see the change in percentage, how much has been done. We can also go and have a look at the net profits to see exactly which ones has done the best. And silver is the one with the net profit of 32,000 in here. US 30 is doing extremely well. It is one that's actually not been around for that long. So it came in only in September or October, I believe, last year. 22,000 already. 17,000, 16, 14, 13, 13, 12. So you can see there's quite a few that has more than doubled already on the accounts and are basically risk-free if you took the money out from the live accounts here. And then you have other ones that has only done 3,000. And then you have the CAT Swiss francs, which is the one that had the margin call we mentioned here before, and the Aussie 200, which for some reason trended dramatically downwards when all this came out. And that's the one that we basically lost. We have since then already tested and running another account in this particular one, changed quite a few of the settings, so it should be safe, but obviously we keep that. Most probably change it onto the new portfolio here, so remove the old one, install the new one, and then you can follow it. Maybe at one point when we are sure that these settings are a lot more stable and can be basically maintained over long periods of time, we might also make it available for the coupling service. We'll have to wait and see on that particular one. FXBlue is a bit funny in that sense here sometimes, what it shows and what it doesn't show. So let me just try and get this here. So we say banked and floating profit. I believe that's the one. And there you go. So if we just zoom in a bit more here, so you can see that the floating profit, as we have it, it is at one point here. You can see again we are up most probably at around 40,000, and then it basically follows the curve all the way through. There's so many trades all the time. And then we had the big drop also in the equity here. You can see the equity and the profit here is almost following again. So at the moment, this particular gap in here, we know that that's around 40,000. And you can see up here, we had some very tight ones, and that is basically where it was down to 15 or 18,000 most probably. And then it opened up. And as you can see here, it closes up again on some of them. Some go into a drawdown for a couple of days, some do it for a week, and others do it for months. So overall, very good development. So even though we would stop all our robots here today, definitely they have made us quite a lot of money on this particular graph. So with 1 year of trading behind us now with the Profit Retriever EA or robot, depending on what you prefer, we are basically looking at an extremely good year for that particular robot. The most important things here is the stability of the EA. We have never seen such a stable EA before, especially over long periods of time. And as I've shown you here now, it's about 12 months, and most of the EAs will definitely not hold up for so long. We have been trading with different robots, set and forget, also with the manual robot trading, but we have never seen anything so stable and so profitable as the Profit Retriever is. We know that this is our niche. We're going to expand on this with more different currency pairs, indexes, and other things in here. It is definitely the way for us to go forward. And I hope also that all these videos and the information we have provided for you here can give you an idea of this is something for you. Obviously, you have to make up your own mind. This is definitely not investment advice or trading advice, but it is to give you a bit of an insight as to there is things out there that can actually make a profit. And this is the first one we have seen. We are very happy with it. We are very happy with the support from Expert Forex, and obviously also now the people are once into Forex but doesn't really have the time or can make the effort to get the robots to work. You can actually go in, use the coupling service. There is plenty of traders out there that is putting signals out, And there's a lot of people that, similar to us, now have several hundred days of trading behind them. So it looks like good, stable tradings. But obviously, again, always be cautious. This is the Forex market, and it always has a tendency to catch traders out. And that's exactly why you have to do it in a portfolio, not just on one or two accounts, but you have to spread the joy over multiple accounts. And that way you can also sleep at night, which is very, very important. So I hope it's given you a good insight. We are definitely looking forward to year 2 now with the Profit Retriever and all that comes with it, including the copy link service that hopefully will expand. And let's see, we might even see new robots in 2023 that we can now put in and accommodate in our portfolio for the future. So until my next video, see you around. Bye bye.